Right, welcome everyone. A very, very special guest today, Julie Deitz from Melbourne. Victoria, you're actually not...
On the Mornington Peninsula.
In the Mornington Peninsula, that's right. I was trying to think of a suburb down there, Red Hill, but maybe that's not it. But
Mount Eliza.
Mount Eliza, that's it, beautiful. So Julie, an astrologer, works in many different realms, blending, merging the spiritual nature of who we are with our physical vision, our wants, needs and desires. And I guess from our previous conversations, bringing heaven to our reality through, our understanding, our own personal awareness of our strengths and our path. So great to have you, Julie. It's one interview that I've been really looking forward to. I've actually had a number of sessions with you as well, and look forward to where we're going with this conversation.
Fantastic. And it's lovely to be here, and I'm hoping that we all get as much out of it as I know I'm going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where would you like to start? There's a lot of
exciting times at the moment. I guess before I start, I really want to explain how important, why I see astrology as being really important for moving forward, wherever we're going, particularly if you're coming from a spiritual perspective. The reason I say this is because that astrology helps you understand who you are at a really profound level. When I started doing astrology, it blew my mind away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because one of the first things I discovered was I had a Leo moon, and it nearly killed me. I thought, here's this emotional side of me that says, hey, look at me, I want attention. And I didn't think I was like that at all. I've actually had to own it. And that's the thing with astrology. You go through life and you find you have all these tendencies. Maybe you come up against people in the outer world who you can't work with, or events that happen to you, and you're thinking, why are these same patterns happening to me again and again and again? And when you understand your birth chart, you can actually get a real insight into the sorts of things that you come up against in the world, what your tendencies are that are magnetically attracting these things to you.
I love that. I love how you've explained that.
So when you understand your birth chart, you actually understand the energetic makeup you have, and you get these incredible insights, not just into your tendencies, the things that trip you up, but also into your potential and your gifts and your strengths, and this incredible way you can tap into those energies that you have that are innate in you, to transform your life and to transform your work. Okay?
Yeah, I do love that, and it is super intriguing. It has been for many years for me. The one thing you and I have spoken a lot about is really, when we're able to capture that information and work with it. We may not always, like you said at the beginning, the Leo moon, we may not want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
There is that, could you call it a reality, or that blueprint, or that stamp, that code that is in your astrology that is saying, whether you believe it or not, it's there for you to work on or with.
Absolutely. It's an energetic blueprint that we all have.
Yes.
Okay, so once we understand what our energetic blueprint is, what our makeup is, then what we find is that the things that happen in the world, we can see how they're going to impact us in our own lives. You see, the things that happen in the world also happen to the energetic blueprint that's unfolding in the heavens as we speak. So we've all born with our own birth chart, if you like, which is that moment that we chose to incarnate, that moment that we chose to draw the first breath. That wasn't an accident. No. We came in with this intention of what we wanted to learn, what we were here to experience in this life. And that intention, that potential is all sitting there in your birth chart if you can understand it, if you can read it. And what happens then, of course, the planets and the stars don't stand still. They keep moving. They keep transiting the sun. And as the sun itself was hurtling through space around the, the galactic center. It's amazing what happens. And see, this is the movement that the world takes,
Yes.
that events in the world, in our outer lives, in politics, in nature, this is how this is unfolding. So you can actually track how these events that are unfolding in the outer world are going to impact you. You can prepare for it. You can have a sense of how it might touch your life.
Yes, I love that. So that really is power. When you understand that this outer reality, there's this cosmic wheel that is always spinning and turning, and that's one influence. And then, how do you dial into what the soul's influence, the blueprint influence that is wanting to emerge from you as well?
That's right. So there's two different things that you're looking at. You're looking at your own innate unfolding, the potential there, the seed potentials there in the birth chart.
Yeah.
How's it going to unfold? How are you going to access those strengths? What are the challenges that it might trip you up along the way? Those kinds of things.
Nice.
But also understanding how that interfaces with what's happening in the world around you.
Terrific. And Julie Turner, you've just joined us. Welcome. Great to see you. So there will be some a time for some questions as well. So we'll make sure that's available for you. So let's talk on a grand scale now. There's a lot of influence, energetic, planetary influence, impacting, we could say, us physically, dimensionally, spiritually. So what do you see as some of the main turning points this year particularly? Yeah.
Well, some of the biggest things that are happening this year, we have a lot of planets in Capricorn at the moment. Pluto's been in Capricorn for a number of years, but we just had Saturn into Capricorn at the end of last year. It's moving through Capricorn. It's actually going to come up and conjunct Pluto in the beginning of 2020, in January 2020. That's going to be huge. The potential for actually achieving things is massive this next couple of years. We've had Mars running through Capricorn. It's just moved into Aquarius, but it's about to go retrograde at the end of June, and it's going to go back into Capricorn. So when I say all these planets in Capricorn, what does that mean? First of all, let me say Saturn loves being in Capricorn. It's its favourite sign because Saturn's the planet of hard work, responsibility, and achievement. It's the planet of success. So as Saturn moves through Capricorn, it's like the world suddenly says, if you're focused on goals, say achieving your goals, and you're prepared to put in the hard work, be responsible, operate with integrity, do it well. Saturn's a hard taskmaster. It's not going to be an easy trip. You're going to have to work. But if you're prepared to put in the work, the potential for achievement and to translate what you're doing into reality, your dreams into reality, really, then the sky's the limit.
I love that.
Go for it.
So I remember from my chart, so there's, I think I've got the North Node in Capricorn and the South Node in Cancer and those sort of things. So you were saying now's the time to really dig deep and to stick with your decisions and to back yourself and move forward with plans, with excitement, I guess, knowing that there's that planetary energy and alignment there.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, the nodes are going to be different for each individual.
Yes.
At the moment, we've got the transiting North Node in Leo. Okay.
Right.
So what that means is that it's a time where we can all move towards achieving that Leo leadership, finding our inner leader, creative self-expression. Leo rules all of those things. So it's a really fabulous opportunity to uncover our leadership potential. And particularly if you've got a North Node in Leo, or if you've got, or in any of the fire signs for that matter, like Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, it's also the opportunity for, if it's touching any of your personal points, your sun, your moon, your Mercury, it's a time of empowerment. Leo is ruled by the sun, so it's a very, very powerful planet. It's all about light and life and vitality and energy. So you can see how Leo, that North Node in Leo, the North Node is one of the karmic points in the chart. It's about our karmic destiny, where we're headed as a community. So the potential for that is huge just at the moment.
Love that. And so is this energy come in sort of obviously in waves depending on transits and those things, and we take the opportunities as they arise, or do they lay specific bedrock or foundations for us to springboard off in the future?
Well, the North Node is there ongoing until the end of the year. Around about November it moves into Cancer, so it's a different kind of energy comes in. But what we've got also, this Saturn moving through Capricorn, yes, it does. It moves forward. It's there. It's going to be there in Capricorn for the next 2.5 years, okay? In that time, it'll move from being outwardly directed to inwardly directed, so we're going to have to do some inner work. Some self-disciplines are going to be required, but the potential for achievement is fantastic. It's going to come and go. There will be other things that come up that will challenge us. For example, I just mentioned that Mars is going retrograde at the end of June. Mars is the planet that rules our energy. Okay, it's going retrograde in Aquarius. It's going to retrograde back into Capricorn. So for a short period of time while Mars is in retrograde, the energy is going to go out of the outer world and into our inner world, and we might encounter roadblocks. There might be a little period between, say, the end of June and August where projects stall. There's little delays, there's little hiccups, we might have periods where we feel lack of energy ourselves. Maybe we work too hard and we're tired, or maybe we get sick. I mean, it is winter. Things like that. So there are little hiccups along the way, because it's not just Saturn and the North Node. There are other things happening as well.
Absolutely. So that's fantastic. So are you enjoying this, Julie Turner? Is that some information for you? Really good. So let's move into second half of the year and into 19 and 2020. There's
I'll just go back. I mean, it's not just Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. I mean, Saturn's the planet of hard work and achievement in the outer world. Pluto is the planet of transformation and restructuring. It actually pulls things apart and so that we can rebuild them in a better way. So there's all of that is geared around our work and our success. We've had a couple of really big planetary shifts earlier this year. We had Chiron move into Aries in April. Yeah. So, from where Chiron's been in Pisces for the last few years, and in Pisces there's a wound that we have around our feeling of disconnection to the universe. It's now shifted into Aries. So the kinds of wounding that we're going to have is to do with our identity. Okay. And it's really interesting because we've had Uranus shift into Taurus in May. Now, that's a huge thing. Uranus moving into Taurus is massive. It's going to be in Taurus for the next 7 years.
It's big,
It's been in Aries prior to that for 7 years. It moved into Aries, when was it? 2011. And look at it. Uranus is the planet of change, radical change. It rules things like the internet and electricity and technology. It rules our contribution to the community, how we serve the community as large, and community groups and that kind of thing. Now, Uranus in Aries as Uranus has been moving through Aries, we've seen massive changes in technology. One of the classic ones, because Aries is all about the projection of ourself, of our identity onto the world, and you can see how that's manifested in the world. You see that over the last 7 years, Instagram's become really big. You've seen the rise of the selfie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classic Uranus in Aries. How do we project ourselves into the world? We take photos of ourselves and post them.
Gosh, it's hilarious.
And it's really interesting because Uranus, you know, like it's been a time of leadership and of us finding who we are, how we are different from other people, how we can be ourselves in the world and on the internet. So what's happened then? It's moved into Taurus, and all of a sudden we're saying, okay, is this what I really want? Really, what's the word? Is this what I value? Is this what's important to me? Because Taurus is all about our stability, our structure, and what we do to anchor ourselves in the world. So with Taurus, you're looking at the physical body. You're looking at money, our financial situation. You're looking about your values, your self-worth. You're looking at the earth. Now, so over the next 7 years, really, while Uranus is moving through Taurus, we're going to see huge changes in that. You know, we might be saying, well, have I given away too much of myself in that Uranus in Aries period? Maybe I need to become more grounded and think about just how much I really want to say to people, how much I want to, how many of my secrets I want to actually out there on the internet. Uranus, of course, might even mean having regular retreats from tech so that we can ground ourselves and anchor ourselves in our life and in the world. We're seeing huge changes with Uranus moving to Taurus. You can see this incredible volcanic activity. Taurus rules the earth.
Yes, it's the most grounded sign of all the zodiac signs, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how would this shift, I guess, translate or manifest in someone's life, relationally, financially? There would be questions on, am I on the right path? Is this the right person for me? All those sort of things.
Absolutely. I would say particularly we're looking at our financial setup. There's going to be huge changes in the banking industry. You can see that already they're setting up the Royal Commission we've got going at the moment, inquiring into banking and financial institutions. That's going to be big over the next few years. There's going to be massive changes. Look, people are making these amazing predictions. They're talking about cryptocurrencies coming in, you know, Bitcoin and things. And like when you look at it, the last time Uranus was in Taurus was in that pre-World War II period from about 1934, 35 through to about 1942, which, thinking about, people suddenly started wondering. I mean, their whole financial structure changed with the end of the Great Depression. Moving into World War II, all of a sudden, instead of money, there were ration cards, there were coupons. People suddenly started saying, well, what is it that I value? Is it really my finances? Is it my life?
Yes.
You know? Is it food, putting food on the table? You know, is it survival? You know, and this is tying in with that Chiron in Aries. You know, I'm not saying there's going to be any terrible disasters like that, but I certainly think that it's a time of change. You know, and the banking sector changes are going to have a big impact on all of us.
Yes, without doubt, without doubt. So are there any other transits or planetary influences aligned with the two that you've already mentioned, or three there?
Okay, so what we've got Mars moving retrograde. I spoke about that. We've got a big eclipse happening in July, at the end of July. There's going to be an eclipse, a lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Aquarius. That's Mars is retrograde at that time. So it's a time of uncertainty, like questioning our identity, maybe feeling a little bit powerlessness, a bit of power, lack of power at that time. But it's going to shift. It could be a time when we start to question our relationships too, because with Mars retrograde, Mars rules men and masculinity in the world, not just our power. And then we also have a Venus retrograde period happening later in the year. You know, we're looking at this is a time when relationships could well come up for us. When Venus moves retrograde in October, November, she's moving retrograde in Scorpio, going back into Libra. So Scorpio is the sign of representing our sexuality and our sexual relationships, and Libra is the sign representing our partnerships. So it could be a really big time for questioning relationships and partnerships at that time. Venus is about what we value. Venus, that's why you see the connection with Taurus. Venus also rules Taurus.
Yes.
Taurus and Libra. So it rules our relationships. It's what we value, what's important to us. So when Venus moves retrograde, all of a sudden we start asking ourselves, what is important to us? I remember a couple of years ago, my Venus went retrograde on my daughter's son, and she went overseas to be bridesmaid for her best friend's wedding in Ireland. And I said to her, Venus is going to be retrograde on your son. You're going to start to think about what it is you really want. She got back from Ireland, dropped her boyfriend. He wasn't what she wanted. These are the kinds of things can happen when Venus moves retrograde.
Love it. And go on, Yep.
It can be a time also when we start questioning our finances, our financial setup, what we exactly as we want it. Can it be different? Because Venus rules our money as well.
Yes. Okay. That's interesting. So really, before we get to the pointy end of the year, which is, I think, one of the major transits you mentioned earlier to me was, Jupiter going into Sagittarius, of course. So really, it's about rooting us or grounding us so that we can get repositioned and we can have a bit of a shakeout and a shake-up. Is that right? Yep. You still there, Julie?
Yeah, my internet just dropped out for a minute. Are you there?
That's okay. Yeah, you can still hear me?
Yep.
Great. So welcome, Kerry. Great to see or partially see you on. So the question there was, so really the shifts are having us ground and become, I guess, more honest with ourselves so that before the next transition, so that we can clear away some dead wood. There's a bit of a shakedown or a shake up in what we thought we wanted or who we thought we were. Is that? Maybe it's not the right question. It keeps dropping out.
Lost the internet again. Are you there?
Oh, that's okay. I was just saying maybe it's not the right question. Maybe there's too much disturbance.
What I will say, you mentioned Jupiter.
Oh. Just hold tight there, Julie and Kerry. Thanks. So just comment, Julie and Kerry, while we wait for Julie to come back on. Just what's been a standout for you? Can you relate to what you've heard so far? Just type in and let me know if it's resonating with you or if you've noticed some of these shifts personally for yourself. You know you want to. And Julie's just dropped. She'll be back on in a moment. Question about the money. Is the shift to gold and crypto important now? Okay, Kerry, that's a great question. Yeah. So anything else that's... Yeah, so I've noticed the changes, Julie. Yep. And anything from you, Kerry, as well? What have you noticed? What sort of shifts? And here's Julie back again. This is great. Okay, so make co-host and unmute. You there, Julie?
Yep, I'm there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Got an unstable internet connection for some reason.
Yeah. So, I've just engaged Julie and Kerry and just said, have they noticed some of the shifts? Have they been across some of this And so, yeah, we can see huge changes happening since January, says Kerry. And yes, I've noticed the changes, says Julie. I'm away for all of October, November, says Julie. You might cop it somewhere else. And Kerry, shifts have happened from what I thought I would be doing to something else, but still not full clarity on what. But that's okay. Yeah.
Well, as I started to say when I was rudely cut off by the internet, Jupiter's been in Scorpio all year. It moved in at the end of last year. It's been in there all year this year. It's a time for expanding into looking at our inner world, going deep, doing some shadow work, clearing any of the stuff that might be getting in the way of moving forward, because Jupiter's going to move into Sagittarius in November, and that's exciting.
Yay.
Sagittarius is its own sign, you know?
Yeah.
And when a planet's in its own sign, it has peak performance. Jupiter loves Sagittarius because it's the sign of expansion, of adventure, of knowledge and wisdom and going deep, really exploring our beliefs, discovering our ideals. And to me, this is a fabulous combination with Jupiter in Sagittarius and Saturn in Capricorn, because, you know, you're exploring your beliefs, you're getting your ideals all sorted, you've got big plans, big expansion. And the Saturn in Capricorn, it's going to help you translate it into reality. It's an amazing time to be alive, really.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Very exciting.
And we have some huge shifts coming. 2020. It's going to be confronting because we're going to have Saturn conjunct Pluto, which is like, and Jupiter's going to conjunct Pluto, and Jupiter's going to conjunct Saturn. It's going to be the year of big conjunctions, life-changing conjunctions. So it's actually, I think, about 5 different conjunctions that are going to happen between Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto in the course of 2020. So if we can do the preparation work here, get the ball rolling, these planets are going to be supporting us into the future.
I love that.
It's transformative stuff. With Pluto involved, there's definitely going to be some shadow work. And with Saturn, it's going to be hard work grounding it in the physical world. But the potential is there. And particularly if it's relating to your personal planets and signs, when you've got Pluto, Saturn or Jupiter conjunct one of your personal planets or your ascendant or your midheaven, the potential is unbelievable.
Wow. So really, I love what you said. So it is doing the work now, that foundational work. So between now and 20, if we just jump to 2020, which has been on my, I guess, radar, energetically for quite some time. There's just this, 2020 vision, there's obviously quite the plan. What sort of changes would you expect to see in our human consciousness at that level?
I think 2020 is going to see huge changes in government, in the structure of government, in the political situation. And I might add, some of them might be quite confronting.
Yes.
I don't know what they're going to be, of course, but with Capricorn, it rules governments. It rules the structure of our world. It rules politics and leaders. So it rules our career, our personal career, where we're headed, our role in the world. So it's very much to do with the outer world and our public life.
So this is why we're encouraged to do a deep dive over the next year or so to start to, clear our path, renew ourselves, re-enroll ourselves into our highest vision, our highest potential, and build those steps towards realizing that with the changes in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. I think, go on, are you going to add something there, Julie?
No.
I think Kerry here had a question now. I'm not sure whether you can answer it in the same manner it was asked, but, question about money, is the shift more to gold and cryptocurrency more important now? Are you seeing that there will be a shift towards valuing, assets and
there's going to be a shift. Now, just what that shift will be, I can't say. How can I put it? People are predicting all sorts of things. I've seen some dire predictions that astrologers have made. There's some really out there astrologers who are making huge predictions at the moment. The reason why we say cryptocurrency is because Uranus rules the internet and things that are etheric and things that are non-tangible. Now, it's a really strong counterpoint that Uranus and Taurus, it's like they're two energies that just don't go together. Because Taurus rules the physical and the grounded and, that the stable, the steadiness. And Uranus is the lightning bolt that rules change and sudden dramatic things. It rules the internet, things that are intangible. So you can't, when you bring the two of them together and you say, well, what the hell is going to happen? It's really hard to get a handle on it because it could go either way. Yes. It could go that financially we're going to move more towards, use of credit cards and the internet and cryptocurrencies and things like that. All those things that are less tangible. But it could go the other way and say, well, I've had enough of all my information being out there on the internet. I'm pulling back. I'm going to actually invest my money in gold. And there'll be waves.
Yes.
There'll be waves where people move in one way and then they'll pull back.
Interesting. Yeah, it is hard to define. Yeah,
it's hard to define. Over time, you'll see a trend coming through. But just which way the trend is always going to be towards moving forward. But you have to kind of factor in the pull both ways.
Yes.
People need stability. People need to see the tangible, Yeah. And particularly if you have a lot of planets or points in Taurus, this is going to be quite a change for you. This is going to be confronting. Not just Taurus, but any of the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. Big changes happening in your life over the next 7 years. Depending on whereabouts in Taurus, in that fixed sign your personal planets are. If it's at the beginning, it'll be in the next year or two. If your personal planets are at the end of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo or Aquarius, then it's going to be in 6 or 7 years' time. So it's kind of a bit of a leap to say it's going to happen everyone straight away.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm hearing a lot and seeing a lot of people that are wanting to exit the old system and they want to, get on the road with their families, or they want to travel more. They want to be location independent. Is that part of this shift as well, and part of that value that I guess people are saying, well, there's got to be more to life than the 9 to 5. There's got to be more to life than being, so concerned about your bank balance or whatever else is attached to that.
Well, Uranus will certainly help you with that. Uranus in Taurus will help you make that shift, make that transition into something new, something different. It's about expressing your need for stability and security in a way that's unique and individual to you. It will help you find that. And if travel's the thing, then Jupiter in Sag will help you with that one too.
Yeah, itchy, that's for sure. So let's move across. So before we do, I want to talk about 2019 in a moment, if that's okay. So Kerry's saying, her hubby is Taurian and she's Aquarian. Do you have any questions, Kerry or Julie, for Julie? So just to have consider those for the moment. And maybe we can segue into 2019, if that's...
2019, I'm just going to pull up something so I can just check it. There we go. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, 2019. 2019 is going to be a little bit of a transitional time. Uranus is moving backwards and forwards between Taurus and Aries. It's going to retrograde back into Aries later this year. Chiron's moving back into Pisces for a little way. We've got some Jupiter squares to Neptune, some Saturn transits to Neptune happening. So it's going to be a little bit of neither here nor there, transitional, uncertain, things like that happening. I suspect it's going to be a time of readjustment of our ideals, still putting in the work, still moving forward, but readjusting, and uncertainties will come in with the Neptune transits to Jupiter and Saturn that will start to make us think, well, is this what I really want? How can I adjust it to fit in with my spirituality, to fit in perhaps with my home life and my sensitivity and my personal needs. But definitely a time of work there, moving forward.
So that's why it's even more important now to really enroll ourselves in doing the work now, in not being afraid to go to those depths and asking the question, what do I really want, or what do I really value?
That's right. And then at the end of next year, the end of 2019, Jupiter will move from Sag into Capricorn. And this is where we get this incredible Capricorn focus coming from, because not only will we have Pluto, Saturn in Capricorn, Jupiter will be there as well. Huge.
Wow.
The South Node will be in Capricorn too. At that time, the South Node, the North Node is moving into Cancer in the end of this year. It's in Cancer for 18 months. It means that the South Node is in Capricorn. Now, the South Node represents our karmic tendencies, our karmas, if you like. So we're going to have to face some difficult things to achieve the things we want. We're going to have to look deep, deal with some karmic stuff along the way. But it's going to be amazing and part of that is, that with the South Node in Capricorn at the time, the transiting South Node and the transiting North Node in Cancer, we're going to have to find a way of incorporating all that hard work and that achievement and those goals. How do we fit that into our family life? How do we make it work for both? And does that make sense? Yes,
absolutely. So there are a lot of questions, and I guess, it sounds like we're the best ones to ask for that. So it's not seeking it outside of us all the time that so many are still good at doing.
That's right. Look, I think one of the things that I have found most valuable is understanding the astrology. My own birth chart. If I understand my own birth chart, then I can understand the way it's going to operate in my life, what it's going to trigger in me, and then from there you can work consciously with how best to deal with it. It's when it comes at you from left field, that's when things are difficult. Astrology, understanding your own birth chart, to me is really the key.
Yes.
It gives you the strength and the knowledge of what's going on inside you that can help you moving forward.
Love that. And so you would say, is there a single destiny to a birth chart, or multiple? Is it multi-dimensional or unidimensional?
It's many dimensions. Many dimensions. It's unbelievable, and new things keep coming up. It doesn't matter how well you know your birth chart, you keep having these exciting new insights into your life, and then people will come into your life, or events will happen that trigger parts of your chart, so all of a sudden you have this amazing insight into yourself, and you start to see a potential that you never knew was there.
Love it.
It's really exciting.
Oh, it is. And I'd like to bring in, two other questions that I am interested in, and I know a lot of people that have brought it up with me over the years. And they are, is astrology connected? Can we dial into our star seed nature and our origin? That's number one. Number two is, does astrology and the shifting of consciousness and some of these planetary transits relate to contact, to disclosure and those sort of things? So there's two I thought we could have fun with potentially.
Okay, well, that's some tricky questions there. When you say our star seed nature, what are you meaning specifically?
Okay, our star family, like our origin planet, or our soul's evolution, like where we have arisen from.
Well, certainly you'd be looking at your south node. I would be looking at the south node. And I would be, in the birth chart, when you look at aspects and aspects to the south node in your birth chart and what planets impact it, you can get a strong sense of, first of all, what's happened to you in past lives, and the kinds of woundings or trauma or gifts that you've brought in from past lives into this life, and the kind of journey that you've chosen to clear those residual karmic energies. In terms of star seed nature, I would be definitely looking at the sun sign. It shows a strong connection, an energetic connection with other planets.
So when we look at the 12 astrological signs and how the stars move through those, it's you would be looking at a region of space, as it were, or of a star system within that. Is that what you mean? Within, let's say, Sagittarius, or within Aquarius, or Julie?
I'd be looking at fixed stars, the fixed stars that are connected with. And a lot of astrologers, it's not something that I've particularly specialised in, but a lot of astrologers do fixed star work.
Okay.
Look at how the fixed star actually impact your chart and where they sit in your chart, and they can give you insights into some of the energetic star seed nature you brought in, if you like.
Interesting. Yeah, nice one. I love that. And so from the I guess contact or disclosure of our off planet, our cosmic family, is there anything, whether it's in up to 2020 or into the 2050s or whatever it may be, that may signify a coming forward or a cosmic connection at that scale?
Look, I couldn't answer that question. It's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. I thought I'd ask it anyway.
In fact, I'm not quite even sure what you're asking. Can you maybe rephrase that one?
Okay. Is there anything that you can see or that you know of in the astrological transitions moving forward that strengthen ET contact, like coming out and actually more and more people becoming aware of our cosmic brothers and sisters, and having that be disclosed publicly to people that is in fact occurring?
Look, I think when you look at Uranus, Uranus in Taurus is perhaps a little bit more to do with this world.
Yes.
As planets move through Aquarius, you look at that openness to alternative dimensions, if you like, and other planets and extraterrestrial energies. Anything, as planets move through Aquarius, we've got Mars in Aquarius at the moment. Let me just see if there's anything else. Oh, the South Node's in Aquarius too. So there could be some karmic connections coming in through at the moment. But as any planet moves through, we've got Saturn moving into Aquarius in another couple of years. We've got Pluto moving into Aquarius. Jupiter will move into Aquarius at the end of 2020. So, these could be times where these come up. Pluto's not moving into Aquarius until 2023.
Yes.
So maybe as we move into the 20s, that will open up a little bit more.
Yes, that makes sense.
At the time of when Aquarius becomes the main theme. I mean, for the next, I think, couple of years, we're looking at Capricorn as the main theme.
Yes.
But it's not that far away.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I guess that would have been a better way of framing that question. Knowing that Aries does, Aquarius does connect to the ether and cosmology and those sort of things from there.
And the future.
In the future, yeah, nice one.
Really?
I love that.
Yeah.
So, are there any questions, Julie or Kerry, that you have for the moment? Yep, that's you, all right, Kerry, the perpetual questioner.
You an Aquarian?
Yes, she is.
I love it.
I can always tell when Kerry arrives, because there's no delay in a question. It's straight there, boom. It's good. So while we're waiting for any
Aquarius will be nice for you, Kerry.
What? Just say that again. Sorry, Julie.
When Jupiter moves into Aquarius, you're going to have a wonderful time.
Oh yes, yeah, it's going to be exciting. So while we're waiting for some potential questions, Julie, is there anything else that you would like to add? Any special mention transits?
Have a little look. Is there anything else that I've made? Any notes that I've made? I think I've covered a lot of it. If you're interested in astronomy, go out and have a look at Mars at the moment. Mars is really bright in the skies. It's just on a different note.
That's fantastic. So on the...
Mars is going to be closest to the Earth, closer than it has been for a few years, in July. 27th of July, we've got Mars opposing the Sun, and it's really close. And even just this morning, I was out there looking, it's huge, and it's got this pink tinge at the moment.
Wow.
Beautiful at the moment.
So that'd be observable on the horizon somewhere, or a couple of fingers above the horizon?
In the heavens. I looked out of my window at about 5 this morning here in Melbourne, and it was setting in the west. In the west,
nice one. I'll do that tomorrow morning for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, love it. So okay, Kerry, no problem. Excuse me. So if people want to get in touch with you and would like to have their own reading, would like to go deeper a little bit more, how can they do that?
Okay. I do birth chart readings. There are a number of websites where you can do your own, but what you're really interested is in the interpretation. I do birth chart readings. If you go to my website, juliedeitz.com, you can book a personal birth chart reading with me. I'm also run astrology classes too, introductory astrology. And if you find this stuff fascinating and you've always wanted to do it, to understand it more, I really recommend doing a class, because then you understand the terminology, you learn the language.
Is that online or in person?
I do online classes. I'll be starting my next one starting in July, on the 25th of July, on a Wednesday evening from 7 till 9 p.m. Online. So I just use Zoom as the platform, same as everyone else. Same as you do, Matt. Yeah,
absolutely. It's fantastic. So I hope that answers your question. So go to juliedeitz.com.
You can book a birth chart reading there.
Yeah, fantastic. And so Kerry's got a question here. So why is astrology important or needed to know? Why do we need to know one's birth chart? So I think we addressed that right at the very beginning, but it might be worth just reframing that.
Well, the real reason why you need to understand, or why I believe astrology is important, is because it gives you an insight into your energetic makeup. It's the birth chart is the map of that seed moment of your incarnation, and it actually maps the choice you made to incarnate, and the potential is there in that seed moment for you to unfold throughout your life. So when you understand that at a really deep level, you can see not only your tendencies and the things that get in the way of you achieving your potential, and when you understand something, it's not coming at you from left field. It's, when you've got a tendency sitting there and you're not conscious of it, it always saps your strength. You're fighting, you've got working with the 8 ball the whole time. But not only does it do that, you can understand your strengths and your potential and your gifts. And it's just how, I don't even know how to say it. It's like incredibly empowering.
It is. It is. I love it. I mean, we've had a couple of sessions together, and you know, you always, you know, activate. I get your newsletter. I think, oh, I've got to touch base with Julie, and just it's really, really good. The way that you put things together is you're able to dial in behind it, you know, esoterically, but practically, and in a grounded, applicable way too. You know.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it's good. Really good. So if you'd like to jump on that, go to juliedeitz.com. You'll find all the information on Julie there. It's been, look, thrown you a couple of curly questions there, but you know, it's I guess not having, you know, the full astrologer's mind. You know, sometimes it's good to be curious, and sometimes we can be overly curious.
Every question's welcome. I'll just do my best to answer it.
You've done so well. Thank you for your insights. And
thank you, Matt, for this opportunity. It's lovely to meet you all.
Yeah, well, we'll put this up in the group, and then we'll share it around as well, and make sure that there's the contact details there for people to go direct with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you'll be hearing from me. My people will speak to your people very soon, Julie.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Kerry. Thanks, Julie, for your attention as well, and we'll go from there. Yeah. Thank you. Big love. See you.
Bye.
Bye now.